10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, Blerdverse? We are back with another episode of For the Blerdture. We talking about Moon Knight episode 2. Dropped on Wednesday. I am joined here by a friend of the show, Killer Cam, representing BlerdUp Reacts. What's going on, Cam?
Not much. Ready to dig into this episode. Is getting exciting.
Yeah, I am definitely excited for it. There was a lot that happened low key, so we do have some good stuff to talk about. We do got Jay joining us in a little bit. RJ is doing his thing, so he couldn't be on this show today, but he's with us in spirit, behind the scenes, doing his thing. But first of all, let me just ask your overall opinion on the episode and kind of how you liking the show so far. I mean, we only got 2 episodes in, but
right.
So far, I think.
I mean, so far it's good. I know I was a little bit iffy on the first episode, and I think it was our last live that we did that you guys helped me put it into perspective. Like, hey, this is not a new character, but it's new to the cinematic universe. So there's some stuff that needs to happen before we get with the shits. And I think this episode we got with the shits a little bit. So I was good.
He kind of put it down. He kind of showed us a little bit more of his power. Khonshu made a couple more appearances, and yeah, I'm just kind of excited to see how this all develops. I'm really kind of digging. Is this Kevin Bacon? Is that Kevin Bacon that's in there?
No, that's Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I get them so confused.
It's kind of like hard these days. They're starting to favor each other as they age, but I see it, I get it, but I had to look and it's like, no, that's Ethan Hawke. So
Ethan Hawke's character, I like how he's developing, because in the first episode, it kind of looked like he was like all serving of Amit, and he only went by the laws of Amit. But when I kind of see him in the end of this episode, it kind of seems like he has his own prerogative going on, and he doesn't just use Amit's power.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of jumping to the end there, but so we kind of start off at the beginning.
He does. Sorry.
He does look like Kevin Bacon. But so in this episode, it starts off at the end of the last one. You see Moon Knight beating the Jackal's ass. He's whooping him, and then it kind of goes off into the distance, and Steven wakes up. He's like, oh, this must have been a dream, but Steven knows it's not a dream anymore.
Yeah.
So Mark is really trying to keep up the illusion. He's really trying to keep him in this hole, in the sunken place, not knowing what's going on. And I kind of appreciate that. I kind of appreciate the effort, but Mark should have just known. Like, it was blown. He would have known by now, but what do you think about Steven just kind of being in the dark this whole time? Like, how long do you think Steven has been in the dark? How long do you think this whole thing has been going on? Because we don't even really have any answers right now.
Yeah, like there's no context of time of what's happening here, because literally in the first episode, there's so many different times where Mark takes control and he blacks out, and then he wakes up and he's either still in the middle of some stuff and blacks out again, or he's waking up in bed. So just to kind of point out, I feel like this has to be going on a long time, because think about this. When Steven is waking up in the morning. His sand is intact. The tape is still on the door. Mark is putting the shit back when he gets back to the flat. So it's like, so before, you know, you kind of like, he probably had an idea when he was sleepwalking or what now, but for the longest he hasn't, because Mark's like, you know what? Let's do it this way. Then it's just easier for me, you know? So,
and something else Mark says in the episode is, you know, when he's kind of behind the scenes, just looking through the reflections, you know, when we get Steven behind the scenes looking through reflections, you can see that Mark just can see everything that's going on. So maybe when Steven first started doing this, Mark caught on real quick and then just kind of put his mind at ease. And then now it's kind of just like, okay, some weird stuff is going on. You know, I also saw something, thanks to TikTok for putting all these theories in my head. When Steven steps on the sand, it shows that he's more in tune with Egypt than Ethan Hawke's character is. I can't remember his name, but it shows that he's more in tune with that because he has a deep connection with the sand. He's also Khonshu's, you know, dude. Avatar. And so I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think this episode really gave us a little bit more insight into the characters of Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, Arthur, Ethan Hawke's character Arthur, I think is Hero, I guess is his name. And we get a better understanding of what's at play here. These two gods, Amit and Khonshu, are at war, basically. You've got Amit, who technically is serving on the side of justice in terms of eliminating people who have walked the evil path, per se. But it doesn't take into consideration any events that might come into play, especially if the thing hasn't happened yet. It doesn't really take into consideration, you know, that what if another life event changes the course for that person and they're not deemed evil. So they're gaming the system here. And Khonshu is like, no, that's not the way we do it. You know, we're the fist of justice or whatever, and we do it when it happens, you know, which we've come to find out that Arthur was a previous avatar of Khonshu. So Arthur knows everything that Stephen and Mark are pretty much hearing right now without even hearing it, because he's heard it all before. So I thought that was really interesting in terms of the development, because now we have an understanding of just how much of a threat Arthur is, I guess I'll say. And then it also makes you, how do I want to say? You get a better understanding of Mark and his motivation. This is a deal he's made because Khonshu saved his life and he has a debt to pay. But it also seems like Khonshu keeps removing the goalposts, like, nah, I'm not done with you yet, you know. At the end of the day, you know, they're giving us all these layers and these backgrounds on these characters, introducing new characters. Layla, who we come to find out is Mark's wife.
That was a shocker. I was like, dang, homie is really just booed up and didn't even know.
You know, and getting ready to serve her with divorce papers, but we find out later it's all being done in an effort to protect her because she's been marked as the next avatar, which I would not be opposed to seeing. She reminded me of, what's that chick named Carly from Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, I see that. I can see that. Absolutely. But you know what else? When you said when he's judging them off their things that they might do in the future and all that, it reminded me of where else have we seen this happen in the MCU? Captain America 2, when they were loading the tri-carriers, helicarrier, whatever they're called. They had the thing set up to where they would target all the people who might commit crimes in the future. So it makes me kind of think, is it connected somehow? Did they have, like, they could totally make it a full circle and bring it back to that. Like, we didn't have an algorithm. We were directly connected to Amit.
Who knows, man? You never really know. And again, it's so early in this show. It's really leaving that mystery, that element of mystery. Like, where does this go, and how does it play into other stories? So, again, just being episode 2, I think there were a lot of things that just really helped me understand. Yeah, this phase 4 is going full blown magical. We're going magic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What even started off phase 4? Was it Eternals?
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know. All I know is that the magic element has really been present in those characters who have access to it.
Magic,
it's popping up in a lot of the movies and the TV shows,
and gods, and even Doctor Strange, the next Doctor Strange, that is just gonna pop off. And Jay, welcome, Jay. We are eagerly needing your comic book knowledge, my good man.
Well, first off, what's happening? I just want to say I apologize for being so late. It's been hectic these past few weeks. So much has been going on.
Hey.
So yeah, but I'm ready to talk about some Moon Knight.
It happens, man. So, first of all, what did you feel about the episode?
This is another great episode. I actually just got done watching it because I was kind of in a rush, as I said. But from what I saw, I really like the introduction of Khonshu. First off, really like that. And what I really like about is how that this personality going back and forth with Steve and Mark. So I really like that.
We were just saying that. So how Amit judges people off things they might do in the future, stuff they've done in the past. We were saying, where else have you seen that in the MCU? In Captain America 2, when they were loading the helicarriers and they targeted all the people who might probably do bad things in the world, and they were going to take them out. So we were just saying, what if, there was no algorithm and they were just directly connected to Amit? They could totally bring it back full circle and just kind of connect it that way. Because Marvel and Disney are just so great at connecting things in their specific universes. How would you feel about that?
With this connection thing going on, man, I just have kind of theories of what's going to connect to, because right now, with this godly aspect and this Egyptian ancient aspect we're focusing on right now is tying to so many things. So I think even going back to Eternals, talking about this with ancient gods and stuff, I think that this show is explaining the missing parts to not just Moon Knight as a character, but the whole Egyptian aspect of where everything comes from. So people in comic books, for example, Apocalypse, and Kang, people like that, Kang's in the MCU, so that's already confirmed.
And Kang is also, he ruled in ancient Egypt as well, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Another connection right there.
So and that's what it is too. It's there's so much that's connecting with it, because right now what I'm starting to see is, I just mentioned, this ancient Egyptian aspect coming in. I think that, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they'll do another Eternals, but if they do some kind of explanation, I think that most of these shows are going to start tying back to something big, because we're getting to a big bad eventually. So yeah, it's going to be crazy.
What do y'all think the big bad might be? I mean, we already have hints of Kang, but I feel like Kang might be a reoccurring bad. I don't think he's the big bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we still need other introductions to characters. We need Fantastic Four. We need to be introduced to mutants. Mephisto.
I think Arthur's going to be the big bad here, though. I think he's working on behalf of Ahmed, but he's not necessarily, because here's why I say that. He's been an avatar before for Khonshu. Now he's serving as kind of an avatar for Ahmed to do whatever they want to do. But I feel like he's got an ulterior motive. I think his interaction with Khonshu it has kind of put him in a place like, I'm going to use this moment to get what I want, whatever that is, which I'm guessing is this utopia world where everybody knows 3 languages and we take care of each other and there's no evil. I'm thinking that's where it's going.
Mhm.
And I think that something's going to need to happen in terms of the gods to knock this shit off, because this is going to cause so much chaos and disorder. And again, the multiverse of madness, we don't know what multiverse this is really, if we're really being honest, and we don't know what the effects of this god war and whatever the hell Arthur is going to do is going to play into what's coming up next. Because I feel like Marvel is really good about lining up these series with their next big movie, and it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
You're
So
right.
I'm leaning towards that. So, but Arthur, I think he's the big bad. I think he's got more than Ahmet's will up his sleeve, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, because when we get to the end of the episode, we see him literally just killed one dude, and he didn't even do like the whole Kane thing. He was just like, yeah, I can offer you, food, sanctuary. Just kidding, death.
He just wanted to scare him. Yeah.
And I was just like, interesting. So he's not like truly following the way of Amit.
No, and here's my thing though on this. Khonshu in comics is a very dirty, persuasive god.
He's not a good dude. He's not a good dude.
He has broken Mark Spector in many ways down, as far as trying to figure out like which is like who's the real you. So I think that Khonshu not only is just a user of people, but he is a threatening force because he's one of the most powerful gods.
Mhm.
And it's to have people serving under him with that much power, it's and mind control too. He's his avatar, as he says, and it's just like it's kind of scary to think that someone with that gets their powers from the moon is so powerful enough to control this avatar. And also, what's frightening is that I think that either these personalities, Mark Spector, whoever, Steve, whatever, by the end of the show, like I said, I think these personalities will all break and then become one. Or like either these personalities, Khonshu might just start killing them off, and then he might have to figure out which one personality is going to stick up for himself, and be like, nah, you're not about to kill off all my 7 personalities and just use me this whole time because you've been using me. So I don't know, but what do y'all think about that?
I mean, gods are gods, man. I know everybody has this idea that it's all love and light, but I've never thought that to be true. And of course, the more I dig into religion and the religion that our ancestors started with and what it became, the idea of what God is versus the gods and how they behave and what they're here to do for us and what we need to do in order to stay in their good favor. Some of those deals are not really good deals. So when it comes to Khonshu, it's still like I'm of the mindset of like, this is convenient for me now, but I know you're not on the up and up. I know you're not going to let me go. And like you said, I kind of enjoy this gig a lot. So, I'm sticking around for the sake of this and keeping Layla off the radar, but he knows they're gonna have to break, or they're gonna have to have a really in-depth conversation about the nature of this here relationship. So
yeah,
I just see this ending up in a bad situation because, like you said, Cam, it's just even though this show is still telling us a lot about Egyptian ties, we still don't know what's going to happen with Doctor Strange because it's just not Egyptian ties. It's the magic that goes into this Egyptian tie as well. It's the different forces of energy that move or that have been summoned from, like I said, our ancestry, from many different structures of, pretty much people who have taken that aspect of religion and turned it into their own. So like they've always, taken it from one and then make it their own. And I just think that Khonshu is he's gonna fight Moon Knight in the end or something. Something's gonna happen, and he's gonna. I think Mark Spector might take his power, or at least try to find how to take his power, or Mark might be finding a way to use him too. I don't know. Trey?
I think that Mark is kind of working on a way in the background to maybe not just keep being with Khonshu, but making him stray away from Layla. Because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that at all. You know, he was saying that in the episode, you know, I won't let that happen, stuff like that. And even Khonshu was like threatening him. He was like, no, once we're done, I'm gonna go to someone that you love. And I was just like, okay, so he's really like, Khonshu knows he doesn't want him to be Layla's host. So I think he's kind of working on something in the background. That's why we get a lot of time with Steven, because he's lurking in the sunken place, trying to figure out how stuff works and find the loopholes and whatnot. So I think that we could definitely see an overturn in the next couple episodes, maybe, if not the finale. But I think we definitely will see it. Can I also say I really enjoyed seeing more of Khonshu this episode? He just looks dope. The details in the skull and the kind of ominous voice, it's just really cool. And we got some good visuals of him, and when he was doing his little Dark Knight thing above the Steven, and them just walking through that peaceful village, I was like, this is kind of cool. I like seeing Khonshu how he is. It's interesting.
I think that he has, you know, well, Khonshu is pretty much a good portrayal of comics, but I mean not. But if you're talking about history as far, you know, Khonshu is, you know, you talked about this backstage. Is, you know, a bird. It comes from like that aspect of, you know, kind of what a symbol is, you know, that represents. There's different symbols in history, right? So different symbols in religion. But you know, the power of the moon, the bird, and how that the symbol represents of how much powerful he is, because you know when birds, like I guess, go out at night, their eyes change and stuff. There's like so many fascinating things about that, and they become stronger or something like that because their senses go up. And during the daytime, they're just regular birds. So it's like they become extra hunters at night, stuff like that. There's weird things, but besides that, I think that Khonshu, I agree with you. I like seeing this side of Marvel because it's not the way it looks. It's the fact that if you guys notice slowly, we're getting into this horror aspect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you know, from Moon Knight, I think is setting the tone, and the next thing is gonna be Doctor Strange, and then whatever else after that. But Cam, I want your opinion on how you think that this show could possibly maybe connect us, or at least have a reference to Doctor Strange.
It's going to be a few. I think it can go a few ways. It honestly can go a few ways because, again, we don't know what universe this is in. We don't know if this is the main one we've known for all of this time, or if this is something happening in another timeline that's going to break through once all the shit hits the fan, I guess I'll say. So I would lean more towards that. But then even I can't call it right now. I will agree with you, though. The horror aspect is there. First episode, was a moment where I was like, ooh. You know, this episode, it was the storage unit, which me and Mo will tell you, we don't do that. Come on now. Like, I need all the lights to come on at once. I don't need the motion sensor lights because that's just asking for Khonshu or any other type of demon, Basiphus or whatever it is, trying to come out and get me.
And
so
black folks don't play that.
No, sir.
you add in reflections and different altars. That was a nightmare. There was a little part where Mark and Steven were arguing where I had to stop because my head was like, this is horrible. Is this how schizophrenics feel? No wonder you can't do shit. This is crippling, you know. Yeah. And then you've got one voice that's a god calling you an idiot and stupid and give up the body. And it's just kind of like that poor guy, Oscar Isaac. I felt it. I feel it.
You know, also one thing that I really like about, like, kind of, I'm seeing the theme in these shows is they tackle like subliminally kind of tackle issue that's happening in real life. Like this one, mental illness, obviously.
Yep.
He has multiple personality disorder and all this stuff. So I really like that Marvel is kind of like shot like bringing light to these issues. Also, it's really nice.
Well, and that's what we talked about before too, is that, you know, how there's in each show something different about, you know, Falcon Winter Soldier was social injustice, right? About Black people. And then Wanda is mainly about kind of like a love story, but like a heartbroken love story, right? And other things. So it's just Marvel is doing a great job of also not just creating these stories, but casting people for these roles. You know, we have someone who's deaf in the MCU who played Makari. You know, we have people like that with people with disabilities that are making it more realistic for these films. You know, Echo, the actor, I forgot her name, who was playing her, is actually deaf as well. So it's like we're starting to see different sides and more a take on people's real personalities in real life and real life situations, like you said. Yeah. Because not only is it important, but it's the fact that these stories have been here in comics forever. So it's like when people say, oh, well, we're going a different way with Marvel, it's like, no, this has always been in comics. Racism has always been in comics. Drugs, gangs, violence, everything, you name it, whatever, has always been there. So I think that this show is going to set the tone for a lot of people understanding, like, you know, disabilities. So good job, Marvel.
And also, I'm really hoping if it doesn't tie into Multiverse of Madness, I hope it will tie into Blerd, because it is kind of that darker kind of thing. And like we already have like jackals, and I heard that what maybe our next series is going to involve werewolves, which I'm fine with that. So I just hope something ties it to Blerd. Maybe we see Mahershala. He just pops up like in the corner, like, what, y'all got vampires? No, this is the Egyptian shit. Okay, I'm like something like that. Like that would be cool to me. But yeah, I just hope we get, if we got like a full blown horror movie from Marvel, I feel like they would really kill that. I feel like they would really do good with a horror movie.
And you know, I think that this Halloween special coming up, which is actually not going to be called Werewolf by Night, which surprised me. But I guess they're doing something different, or naming it something different, but it's still the Werewolf by Night. And whenever that comes out, I guess it's Halloween or a couple of days before or something. But I think if Blerd shows up or something like that, something cool, that can tie to the Midnight Suns that we've been talking about. And how, like, you know, maybe Marvel might somehow figure out their rights in the future and bring the Punisher and stuff in the universe, Ghost Rider, all those people, and how these stories from hell and all that, which because they're focusing on hell right now too. Talking about certain stuff, like, you know, where these Egyptian deities come from, or like some of them are good, but some of them are evil. Khonshu is evil. I don't give a damn what anybody says. And that's just my thing, is that if we see something like that, Trey, that's going to be so cool.
Well, you know, also you can compare Khonshu's avatars to Ghost Rider too, because it's kind of, they get these people, they get these powers from a somewhat evil source, but then they kind of generally use it for good, which is kind of cool in that aspect too. So you can compare them that way as well, because, you know, Ghost Rider, devil. Moon Knight.
I mean, it's the interesting dichotomy of basically mysticism and just being a human being. Like, again, I'm gonna say this, and we all know this, and there's a reason why they say our God is a vengeful God, because gods ain't cool like that. Like, yeah, they may bless you, but some of them have some ulterior motives, you know. And I'm speaking in terms of philosophy and everything like that. You know, if it was all hunky-dory, sacrifices, blood magic wouldn't be needed, you know. So you've got these gods that have these powers who find weak people, because let's face it, he chose Mark, Steven, whoever he chooses to be that day, because his brain is in chaos and it's easy to break. It's easy to break. They chose freaking Arthur, because he was a previous avatar of Khonshu, and he's got this idealistic future in his head that he wants to build. I mean, don't get no about that. She wants her souls and she want them now. That's what she don't want to wait to the bad stuff. She wants them now. Hey, Gina Joe, shout out.
No, I agree. I agree. And Gina Joe said, yeah, it'd be nice if they put him with Wilson Fisk. That might explain his superhuman powers. So, you know, it's just that whole Fisk thing too. I just think that was an off-screen death. So
he ain't dead.
You know, he died in the comics. I think the MCU. I don't think the MCU is just gonna kill him off like that.
You can't kill off Wilson Fisk. That man is a main menace to the whole MCU. I wouldn't say he's like a main bad guy for everyone. He's a main menace. He just gets on everyone's damn nerves.
Yeah, I would say the only time he becomes like a main villain is if the story's focused on, like, you know, just New York and the ground level hero aspect. But other than that, I mean, Moon Knight, I was gonna say a couple other things in this episode. It's just, you know, with him in this suit and fighting these jackals, like, what do you guys think of just not comparing him to Batman? Of course, we won't talk about that, but just how do you think? What do you think?
I don't want to compare him to Batman, but he literally said he was vengeance.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that, like, so what besides Batman, what do you think that is different about Moon Knight, and what do you like that's different about him? So, I mean, Cam, what from what you know, what do you think about him so far?
I liked him. I mean, the supernatural aspect is what's drawing me into this. Because again, it's no secret. I like horror. Horror is like my thing, but you mix it with some comic books and I'm still here for it. So overall, I mean, the character, the costume, I think the character having so many different alters, that's the thing that's also pulling me in, because I want to see each of them take it. And we kind of saw Mark and Steven both take up the Moon Knight mantle during this episode. And I actually wrote down, like, comparing the two against each other. How do I like Spectre's Moon Knight versus Mr. Knight? And all suited and booted, you know, both were crispy. Both were crispy. Mark handles his business, but Steven, he's new, but he's starting to see what he can do. He got some licks in. So, I mean, if anything, I want to see how these alters are going to take up this, I guess, responsibility, and how their style switches, you know, because there was a clear difference between the two fighting styles. I saw it. I thought that Steven probably got more towards the capoeira, push towards like the natural body movement fighting styles. And of course, he's still learning the strength of what he can actually do, versus Mark being clean, cutthroat, knowing exactly what to do in the moment. To get the fight done or to accomplish whatever needs to be done. So between those two, I couldn't pick between the two, but I'm excited to see what else they can do. Because,
and you bring up a great point, Cam, because it's just with these two, how so unique and different they are. It does really show one person and how, like, they can automatically just, like, their personality, their whole aura can just change. Also, like, you can wake up one day, you can be a totally different person for some whatever reason. You know, and it's one side you can tell there's like military training, like not afraid to kill. Like Mark is gonna kill. He's not afraid to kill, right?
Mark's a savage.
Mark is a straight savage. So, like my man Trey said, and then Steven, like, again, he'll kill, but it's just it takes him a purpose to kill. It's like, why do it takes him like a lot to kill? Like if something happened to him in his mind, a family member, right? So maybe he might, but he's still trying to get in his flow, like you said. He got in a couple licks. He's just still trying to, you know, walk in that door and introduce himself, right?
Gosh, my man Steven is probably the most innocent person in this world. And watching this episode, I just wanted to protect him so bad. You know, he just walks in, hello, you know, litigators. And I'm like, you're so cute, but shit, I need you to get it together, man. I need you to stop volunteering yourself to be fired. You know, stop going with people who ain't showed you no badge or nothing. You know what I mean? Start thinking as if somebody is really out to get you, because you're putting yourself in these situations to get hurt and to get other people hurt, you know?
You know what really had me laughing though is when Steven turned into Mr. Knight, and he was like, "Flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. My name's Steven with a V." And I was like, it made me laugh, but then I was like, did they say that because there's another Steven in this MCU? they had to clarify for us.
Yeah, for real.
But yo, that suit was drippy. But even when he's like, "Well, I look pretty sharp," I was like, yeah. Yeah.
And the sneakers was the kick. That's what really brought it together. For the sneakers, I was like, thank you, because you know you ain't fighting in church shoes. You can't do it. They slip in.
Can't do it, man. But I thought, just overall, Gina said same here, that she likes horror and trying to figure out how to get things done. And Stephen and Morgan and 3 needs to get it together. I mean, I don't disagree, because when it comes to personalities, is like Cam said, going back to imagine looking at yourself in the mirror and just being pulled different directions in your head of different people talking to you and being like, no, just shut up, everyone, just shut up and just like let me focus on me. So it's like he's trying to figure out again who that one person is, whose personality is. But
imagine looking yourself in the mirror and having someone else talk back to you. Y'all ever seen that horror movie Mirrors?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I have.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would never set myself up like that, or say Candyman or anything like that. But point is that with this horror aspect, I really like how it's still horror themed, but like there's still those light tones, Cam, because they, not everything is that serious. But there's some movies that like show that, but this has a good balance of character balance of showing, those sides. Like one's scared, and one's like, just shut up and get the job done, man. Like stop crying. And then like that's what draws us in, because it makes it more interesting. And it obviously both of them still kick butt is the cool thing. So, but what do you think about that, Trey?
I like it a lot. I like that Steven was also able to call upon a suit. I like that he's strong, because we saw him grab the fender and just crushed it. I like that he has the sticks. I want him to explore that more. I really want to see more of that, because I feel like he's gonna whoop some ass later. But I also really want to see if any other personalities pop up, or are we just focusing on these 3 personalities, Conchu, Steven, and Mark. So, which I want more. I really do.
So honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, Trey, to get you pumped. There are more personalities. He has like 7.
There's a lot more.
No, I mean, I know he has more. I'm just wondering if we're gonna see them in this show. That's my thing.
That was the thing I was kind of curious about, because in my head it makes sense that you would, but do we have enough episodes for that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we can have one more, but anything after that, now we're getting into I'm confused territory.
Mm-hmm. Like it might be, if this is an ongoing series, they might have it where more personalities pop up every time this new conflict comes, so this personality can deal with that conflict. Like maybe Steven popped up because Mark couldn't deal with something. He needed to split his life up from Layla, so Mark popped up. Maybe they're gonna like slowly integrate more personalities into it, which I think that would be pretty interesting to see. But I kind of just want to see them all right now, because I'm impatient. So.
Right.
That's a good point. I see what you're saying, Trey. I think that they can do something like that, as far as trying to keep those personalities around and just like tie on to different parts in the story. So I think if they do that, or if they don't, then what they could also do is maybe at the end of the episode just show that he has other personalities within him that he has not released yet, or that he doesn't know about, something like that. I don't know, because I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do going forward with Moon Knight in the MCU with the Avengers, but you look like you got something to say.
I already know one of his other personalities' names. It's Poe Dameron. He's pilots for the Rebel Alliance.
I did not see that coming. I should have seen that coming.
Triborough Gigolo.
So salute to the chat. What's going on? How you doing, man? Thank you so much. And then Gina said, there's more I figured out. They remember what the security guard kept calling him, and that was another name. So, we don't know.
Scotty.
See, and there is a Scotty. There is. There's so many names. I don't even know all the names. I can't remember. But
because think about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Think about it. Who asked Homegirl out for that steak? I don't think it was Mark. And then we know it wasn't Steven. There's got to be another alter who did it. And maybe it is Scotty. Maybe Scotty has made an appearance at the gift shop. Who knows? The museum.
You know what also was kind of sad was when he got fired and they're like, you got to give all your museum property back. And then he gave back the name tag. I was like, that's probably the only thing that Steven has his name on.
He don't even have that. He shares his body. Look,
exactly.
Yeah.
But like, that's probably the only thing that had Steven on it. So I was like,
true.
Dang, because Steven isn't the main. Steven isn't the main. So he doesn't have anything really. Like, is his name on the lease? I doubt it. Does Steven even know how he got in that apartment, in that flat? Like,
that's a good point. And that's the thing too. We still don't know because I mean there are certain stories in comics because I'm still trying to save some stuff for the next episode. I don't really know what's gonna happen. But like where Moon Knight has like killed off some of his personalities or at least like gotten rid of them. And you know, it is sad to see that scene because it's like, you know, thank God he didn't get charges pressed against him. Because they're like, you know, we're gonna press charges or anything, but still, I'm just like, I do feel bad for him because he's waking up, and in that part where he woke up to like, you know, his girlfriend on the bike, he's like, or she told him, like, lose the accent, like, what are you doing? Like you gotta stop this. And he's like, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's
boring. What you're talking about, bro?
Yeah, like so, I'm like, I do feel for him because we don't know. It's kind of like the MCU right now, right? It's like, what's the main timeline? Where are we at? Who's who? So and that's the part of reality in this MCU of this character because he's so interesting. And I don't even know what's gonna happen in the next episode with this personality switching if they're more or they're not. I mean, you guys got any more thoughts on this? Because I don't have much else.
We're about to get into the thick of it because I mean that last part of the episode, we see Arthur kind of jump in and be like, you know what? You see this thing? You see this staff? It's got a little bit of power in it. And immediately I'm like, Steven, grab that shit and clock him in the head and take it. It's yours. he's giving it to you. And of course, no, it's not the plan, you know. But you see him kind of wild out a little bit and releases another jackal. And of course, now we figure out like, oh, so he's the only one who can see them, but they can interact with everybody else around. So these things are really, really dangerous, you know. But you get this end of the episode and it ends on a shot of Egypt and it just kind of gives you the thought that now the shit begins because you got Steven kind of sunk, which is so, I don't want to call it pathetic, pitiful. I feel so bad for him. But you know that Mark is getting ready. He's getting ready to do some stuff. And I know he's getting ready to do stuff because I was joking with Mo, like, ooh, I love toxic men. So, and he's real toxic and he's about to do some stuff. He sitting on the floor with his boxer drinking. I was like, oh, he's planning something, and I'm here for it. I need to see what it is because give me a toxic character any day. I'm here for the ride.
Ooh, also, can I say when he summoned that jackal, something about that jackal just looked so funny to me, like a old decrepit, just grandma, thinning hair.
I mean, did y'all see there was a part? I think it was that part where the CGI kind of got a little bit questionable, and I was like, I'm gonna let that slide. But they kind of
Grandma Jackal.
I think Tribro asked how much of a threat is Ethan Hawke's character. Well, I mean, from the only thing I really know, because like I said, I've only read about like 30 Moon Knight comics in my whole life, but still, you know, being that second avatar to Khonshu, there's a lot of power that does tie to that second avatar because not only has his character like gone to other like, you know, parts of the universe and conquered and dominated, but Ethan Hawke's character in comics is killed and destroyed and done a lot of dirty things. behind closed doors, you know, and he's pretty much like a fake messiah, pretending that he is, you know, this great person who's going to come and just save everyone. But in reality, he's here to poison minds and destroy your land and take whatever you have. And maybe he might take a few that are just as strong as him on the way if there's someone that's just as worthy in his eyes.
That's something I was thinking about too. Funny you said fake messiah, because in the first episode, I thought he was really about it. Like, he's really following Amit, you know, to the letter, to the T, because when he puts the glass in his shoe, he's putting it in closed shoes. So he's not showing everyone that he's doing it for his, you know, belief or whatever. But, you know, and you can even hear the glass in this next episode. He's still doing it. But when it came to this end of this episode and he just killed homie for picking up the scarab, I was like, okay, something's not adding up. Like, he's not following the way of Amit anymore. He's, you know, working in the background, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes going to go down.
Look at it this way, like, just like any other person who gets a taste of power, what do they want? They want more. This man has appropriated a whole Egyptian culture here and trying to build a town or whatever about it. He's evil. He's evil. And now he has the scarab, which leads to, I guess, is it the temple or the catacombs of Amit? I think that's what they said. And it's being used as a compass, which I thought was interesting because they brought up funeral rites for ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And scarabs were used as seals and also as seekers and also keepers of knowledge, like nerd shit. Like, when people died, they would place the scarab somewhere on their body, depending on who they were. But most people were a little illiterate. So when they were buried with kind of like a scroll. So once they got to the gods, they can answer the questions. And if they were illiterate, they would ask those questions to the scarab, kill it, mummify it, and stick it in their ear. So once they got to the afterworld, the scarab would be able to whisper the secrets to whoever the person was to answer the questions or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff there. Even with the glass in the shoe tray, blood magic.
Yeah.
There's a sacrifice that needs to be had for him to obtain or hold that kind of power.
You know what? I didn't think about that.
So I feel that's why I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see where it goes because there's a lot of elements here at play. And it's interesting.
No, I agree with you, Ken, because I mean, that's great history because, you know, a lot of people don't know about that, how, you know, the scarab actually, you know, like, for example, the movie like The Mummy, you know, how there were some scenes where those bugs, like, you know, that plague, how like they went into the ear and stuff. That's again that symbolization of how like the scarab, because we saw in the beginning of the episode how powerful it is, what it does, and how it controls minds, body, spirit, and all that. That goes into ancient Egyptian ties. And how
it goes back to magic, period, though.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it goes back to Druids. It goes back to Santeria. It goes back. It has a basis in the flat line of what I believed was all of religion before it got segmented. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But it's really cool, like stuff like that, to know because of how much power is coming from this source. But what are they going to use this scarab for is what I'm scared about. So, I mean, Trey, what you think?
I was just going to say, comic books aren't just comic books, y'all. They teach us so much about culture, period. And then it makes you want to deep dive into this culture and learn more about that stuff. Like, we just got a dope history lesson from Cam. Like, the comic books are not just comic books. They tie into everything. And I love that.
And that's why we talk about this, man. It's so important because, you know, it's just the people that say comic books are dumb, they're stupid, but you're limiting yourself because you think that just because pictures they're for kids or something are like, you know, the comic books were meant for people who, you know, like 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Like, you know, they're not meant for like 5-year-olds. The language barrier in comic books is so complex. It's for a 5-year-old. For some, you know, it depends. But that, again, it's just, you know, when Ken, like, thank you for that history lesson and bringing stuff like that. It's how everything ties back to everything. Like, we can go back and talk about so many things of how Moon Knight can connect not just to ancient, like Cam said, how magic connects to even Doctor Strange too, and like certain tones in that, like certain colors and stuff and all that. It's crazy. Marvel's doing this stuff for a reason. That's why, if you notice, like we were talking about earlier, that's why they're casting certain people for roles to make it a little more realistic, you know.
Yeah.
So I love it. I think Moon Knight's great. I think that, you know, that this third episode is probably going to be bonkers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of some other things to say as far as the staff. I think there's a lot of power with that. You know, don't know too much about it in comics, but I'll probably read about it sometime and just stumble into it. But what do you guys think this staff is representing besides power? Like, what do you think that this is a symbol of? Cam, any idea?
Gateway to the underworld. So obviously they've given them kind of like carte blanche to use whatever certain resources, I guess, in the underworld to his advantage. Maybe that's honestly at this point, I think maybe that's just it, or maybe he's got to use that scarab to get to this tomb to use this staff to unlock some other secret weapon. You know, you don't know. Like in the vein of Indiana Jones, the Mummy movies, there's so many things that could be on the other side of that door. And we have no idea what it is. But the way this show is going right now at this moment, I feel like it's going to be spectacular because episode 3, go bonkers insano. That's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, as excited as I am, if a cameo happens, if someone shows up, cool. But I think what people are more interested in right now is learning about him. So, what do you think, Trey?
I think the staff. You know, I don't really know if the staff is something from Amit, and maybe it's something like Cam said, it derives from blood magic or something like that, because we've feeling like he's a fake messiah now. So maybe it doesn't even, maybe the scarab won't even lead to the tomb of Amit. It'll lead to something else. Maybe it will bring back Infinity Stones, and somehow this man figured out what Infinity Stones were, this regular dude. So, you know, who really knows? But I feel like it's going to get broken at some point. I think accidentally it's going to get broken by Steven. That's what I feel like is going to happen. He's going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then
it's, sorry.
Yeah. Didn't mean to break your magic stuff.
He's going to try. Yeah, he's the type to put pieces back together. Like, you know, like every single little piece. Like, oh, don't worry, I'll fix it. Like, no. Like, just let it go.
Again, Oscar Isaac's doing a kick-ass job, and Ethan Hawke too. They're doing a really good job so far. I'm really enjoying the performances here.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I you know, Marvel, again, as I said before, does a great job with picking and choosing who they want in their roles. And I just think that there's a lot of just themes in Marvel that, you know, we appreciate and like. And that's what keeps us interested in it, because it's just not about superheroes. It is. But if you look at Marvel, they're still tagging on the realistic aspect, you know? Yeah. So I love it, man. You guys got any thoughts or any opinions that left to say about this episode or what's going to happen next? What do you guys think?
I guess I don't really have any more thoughts about this episode. Overall, I liked it a lot. I liked our Moon Knight action when he killed the Jackal, and the discussions with Mark and Khonshu. I thought it was dope. Khonshu looks dope. And for the next episode, I just hope we get just more action, honestly. The story is kind of just playing out itself. I'm not worried about the story at all. I really like the action in here. I think it's dope. I think it's funny. I think that the fact that people can't see these jackals and ancient Egyptian mythological creatures, and seeing this man just fight them and throw punches, I think that's hilarious. So I definitely want to see more of that.
Hell yeah. There's so much going on, man. The action's great, story's great, got us all intrigued. We just want to see what happens going forward. I mean, I don't have much else to say. Cam, why don't you end it first? What do you got to say about what you want to see next and just your overall thoughts so far?
Actually, y'all know this is probably a first for me. I'm here for the ride. Normally, I'm trying to piece stuff together, and like this is what I think is going to happen. This one, I don't know a lot about, so I'm just letting it ride. I'm letting it ride and soaking it up as I get it. So I just feel like this next episode though is going to be a game changer. This is the one. This next episode is what's going to lock us all in to 12 midnight Wednesday morning, opening up the app to watch it, because it's just gonna get live. It's gonna get lit. So
it is. I can't wait. You know, I think we got 6 episodes, right?
Yeah. So the next episode is gonna be the
halfway point.
Yeah.
Halfway point, and then I think after that we'll start getting into some more crazy stuff. We might get a cameo possibly, but if not, that's okay, because I'm still excited for whatever happens. So I just want to say thank y'all so much for joining on the show, for commenting, liking, sharing, all that good stuff. And I apologize once again for being late, but it was still fun. You know, we still got to talk about a lot of fun, interesting stuff. Cam gave us a great history lesson. I know you know a lot about history just as well, just as anyone else can. So that's great. Glad you told us about that. Trey, you know, you the man. That's all I gotta say. But before you take off, Cam, tell the people where they can find you at.
Check this out, y'all. Y'all can find us at BlerdUp Reacts on all platforms. Shout out to Triborough Gigolo. Thanks for the compliment, Gina Joe. Some familiar names in here. And tune in. Moon Knight episode 1 just went up. Episode 2 will go up on Monday with the reaction. And then, of course, you've got the Peacemaker series I'm working with RJ. This shit is fine. Y'all don't want to miss it. Head over to BlerdUp Reacts. Log in, subscribe, like the video, share. That's the best way to get the content out. And you'll catch me on the next one, I guess, here. You know, I'm down to ride with y'all. Just thank you for having me and have me back as you want to.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure, man. It's always fun. We always got something to say, and we always got something ongoing here at FTB, man. So you know it is, Cam. We love having you here. My man Trey, what you got for me, man? Where you can tell the people?
Hey, you guys know what it is now. I changed my handle. It's the Fly Spider Guy across the board, because I'm just a guy, spider guy trying to be fly. You can get me at the Fly Spider Guy off everything: Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Check me out, and make sure you guys check out my t-shirt shop. That's Trigger Trade Tees, and that's Trigger with an A, not an ER, because I'm with the culture. You know, I had to say it first. But yeah, that's it for me, man.
Nice. Yeah, me, y'all already know Hero Harris Talk across the board. Mainly active on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. I don't have my podcast up on Google and Spotify right now. I'm trying to focus on YouTube. So just follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, you know, come hang out with us, you know, on our shows, come watch our shows. It's always a good time in here. So but next week we'll have Cam, of course. We'll have you back for the same time. We'll probably stay around. This time we'll probably go at 4 o'clock, because we went a little earlier, or we went at 4 o'clock today. We'll go 5 o'clock next week. So we'll have RJ back on the show. He had a lot going on today, so that's why he couldn't make it. But and then we'll have our same group back, and we'll be going on episode 3, which we're gonna be so excited about. And other than that, y'all, this has been so much fun. I can't wait till next week. You know, these episodes just keep coming so fast, and next thing you know, it's gonna be Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Oh, it's right around the corner.
It's
right there.
Yep. And then after that, you know, I think Marvel's just going to take off this year. 2022, this year is just taking off. So very, very excited, y'all. Very, very excited. But all right, let's end this thing. Thank y'all so much for joining in. All you guys commenting, like, and share. Make sure you follow all of us on our platforms. And
for the Blerd shirt, everything, Silver Site, check it out. Like and subscribe.
All that good stuff. Thank you, Trey, for saying that too. Yeah, like, subscribe. We're everywhere. We're always posting stuff. If not, you'll see my face. You'll see Cam's face, doing all different kinds of reactions and stuff. We always got something going on. But other than that, next week, y'all, we'll go at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, and we'll see RJ next week for our show. And we will be back for some more Moon Knight next week, y'all. I cannot wait. I'm going to end this just by saying Blerd is Bond.
Blerd is Bond, y'all.
Blerd is Bond.
Thank y'all so much, man. And we will see y'all next week. Tune in. Thank you.